Hello, this is Professor Tylek. You should have completed Learning Module number 1 and are moving on to Learning Module number 2. I wanted to give you a brief overview of what to expect when this module opens at 9 o'clock on September 14th. This module and the remaining 6 modules of the semester will be extremely similar in format. You'll start off with the folder that explains what the chapter readings are and what the assignments are. For this learning module number 2, you will be assigned in your textbook to read chapters 3 and 4. And again, when reading chapters 3 and 4, I would ask that you look at the preview questions and then answer each of the chapter questions to review if you retain the information. After you've read the assignments, I'd like you to come back and review the Chapter 3 and 4 PowerPoint, which has some embedded voiceovers, some embedded video, and information that I have deemed as important from your textbook. Moving on, there's a supplemental video on food labels. What I'd like to ask you to do when you're reviewing this video is to take a food label from a food that you commonly eat. And if it's a small enough container, like a Kraft macaroni and cheese box, take the whole box and leave it by your computer whenever you do work on your nutrition assignments. I really believe it's going to make this section in particular on food labels much more relevant if you are comparing what your nutrient intake is to what the recommendations are. For example, if Kraft macaroni and cheese is a food that you consume each day, you might become very concerned about the saturated fat content, the caloric content, and sodium content of that food. And you may make a decision to supplement that food with another more nutritious food. So just select any food label that you commonly eat, and keep it with you. The next folder, and in most of the remaining folders, I'm going to include a Smarty Pants folder. I introduced this a few years ago because some of the students in class were very interested in getting additional information on the chapter material, but didn't want to be graded on it. So that's what Smarty Pants is. When you open the folder up, for example, this Smarty Pants, the assignment worksheet, there's 5 questions that deal with the food label of an oat bran muffin. And the questions are extremely difficult. You really do have to understand the components of the food label. If you feel that you've answered them effectively, go to the answer sheet, and a lot of the students have indicated in past semesters this really helps them, even if they answer a question incorrectly, to understand how they were misreading the labels. So ungraded assignment, no submission Dropbox at all for this. Moving on, also is homework number 2. Now, the first homework assignment, I was extremely pleased that the students, for the most part, understood how to access the diet analysis, how to submit the foods. You all had the same frustrations with trying to find specific foods. But as we move on with the diet analysis, and as you use it more and more, you'll be able to create favorite foods. Every morning, if you have the same breakfast, let's say oatmeal with syrup and strawberries cut on top of it, you could actually save that food selection and pull it up as a favorite. What we are going to be doing for homework number 2 is to actually record your own personal 3-day diet. I'd like you to begin right away on September 15th, on Monday, recording your daily nutrient intake from morning to night. Now, this includes every morsel of food and beverage that passes your lips during the day. So, for the assignment, you are going to actually record Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, And I also would recommend that you record your nutrient intake for Thursday as well of this week. And the reason I'm recommending that, some of you, like myself, might have days of the week that you're in class or you're at work and you are just unable to eat your normal, in quotes, diet. What I want reflected here in the 3-day diet does not have to be consecutive days, but I want 3 of the most reflective days of what your normal diet is. So sometime over this next week, those of you that are the most ambitious, record the next 7 days. And then you will be able to select the 3 days that are most reflective of your normal eating patterns. Now, you might, when I review this homework assignment, as I'm going down, the directions are in the top, how to access the 3-day average report. And I should make note here, you're not going to print this out for me because this report will average anywhere from 18 to 24 pages that you're submitting. It automatically generates this really unique and very strong report for reviewing your nutrient intake. So you are going to record every item for 3 days in the daily recording sheets, which I'll show you in a moment. Now I say 3 days. Ideally, as I said, record for 5 days, 6 days, the entire week this week, because you can go back and select the 3 most reflective days. After you have recorded your diet on these 3 record sheets that I've provided, at the end of the day, you can go and input the foods and the amounts into the diet analysis. Now, some students have said this was a really good way for them to record what they ate. They kept one of these sheets each day in their back pocket, and every time they ate something at breakfast, they wrote it down, wrote the specifics down for lunch, dinner, and snacks. In addition, if you do any exercise that you did not record as being normal in your profile, you would also record that in the 3-day tracking your activity level field in the diet analysis. Now, I've had some students that said, I don't want to use the recording sheets. I've got my iPad with me. I'm going to keep it open to the diet analysis, and I'm going to record foods as I eat them over the next week. That's fine. I supplied you with these sheets for those students that wanted to do the recording at the end of the day. And you can see these are the exact same sheets, all 3 of them, for recording your diet. When you have input all your foods, I would ask that you go back and take this self-check. Did you record all beverages throughout the day and evening, including water? Did you measure the liquids correctly? Did you add cream and sugar? Those all add calories and nutrients. I'll move down. Were your chips or other snacks measured correctly? A bag at Subway's, Quiznos, etc. are 1.5 ounces. So try to do a best guess by weighing food or looking at the label. And then check your salads. Are they measured in cups rather than ounces? This self-check will help you to make any alterations to your food input that you need. After that's been done, you're going to go to the Reports section in Diet Analysis, click on 3-Day Custom Report, and generate the report following the directions on page 1. In addition, you are going to have to answer the following questions, and these are located at the end of the homework sheet. So submitting as an attachment a PDF is part 1. Part 2, in the text submission or text message section of the Dropbox, you are going to record your answers to the following questions. Now, in homework assignment number 1, I was fairly generous as long as you gave a reply and the reply had some depth or analysis to it, you received credit for it. In future assignments, I am going to expect that you bring more to the replies in the way of objective responses when they are called for. Now, question number 1, this is a very subjective response. Did you use the recording grids that I provided for you? Were they helpful? Now, this is a subjective answer. You're not going to research this at all. You're going to give your opinion. But if you move down to question number 6, in review of the intake versus goals printout, what area of your diet gives you the most concern and why? What could the long-term health risks of this dietary concern be? Now that, rather than some of the responses I was receiving, for example, my diet was 200% over the daily amount of sodium, and this is bad for your health, that would not garnish full rubric credit from me. Why is 200% daily over 3 days in excess of the daily requirements of sodium harmful to the human body? And I'd expect you either to provide responses from your book. I'd expect you to provide responses from an internet source or so on. So I do expect a little bit more depth in your replies for this homework assignment. And then again, the assignment is going to be submitted into the Dropbox, and all materials are due on September 28th at 9 o'clock. Now, again, some students have asked me, I want to get this assignment out of the way right at the end of the week. That's great. Hand the homework in. Those of you that handed it in early know that I grade them when I receive them. But I will give you a warning. For some of you on homework number 1 that didn't understand the directions, you submitted the wrong assignment, I will only allow one submission from this point forward. So some students like to submit an assignment. If they get a 85 or a 90, they ask to resubmit. I will only allow one submission. So make sure what you submit is what your final assignment, the intention is for it. Finally, your chapter quiz. Again, will not open until the final 4 days of the learning module. So it will open Wednesday. I believe it's the 24th. I'm not sure of the exact date. Yes, Wednesday the 24th at 10 o'clock. And it will be 25 questions, 30-minute time frame. Now again, most of you did not have a problem with the time test. Again, I require that because I expect you to not look up all the answers and to understand them. And again, good luck with learning module number 2. I was pleased with the responses from learning module number 1. And as always, if you have any questions, contact me via email, or please go to Ask My Classmates a Question. You may have another classmate that could answer, and check this site frequently if you're someone that's willing to answer one of your classmates' questions. Okay, good night.